Hey, Divine Reflections, it's your girl Cass. Welcome to my page or channel, Cass Delight. Um, so what I wanted to talk about is something like a conversation I was actually having with like one of my coworkers today, and y'all know I love to use my life experiences and conversations just to give like perspective, because it's one of those things where like we be like missing or like not hitting the spot sometimes, and it would be like right in front of our face, right? So for example, I want to talk about some red flags. We're in the color red. um so basically, the first question, it was like two questions, and both of them he ended up like figuring it out on his own, but I just needed to guide him, because like we just need to be honest with ourselves when it comes to just relationships and other people. And sometimes we want to like give people the benefit of the doubt, and that's why like later on in relationships we just ignore the red flags that we seen. But if we're honest with ourselves, we always seen the issues from the beginning, but we make excuses, or I don't know, make things up to make it look better or for what it really is. So he mentioned that, they were gonna go out to eat, but he didn't want to go out to eat in the area that he stayed in because he already been to all those places. And where we live, it's pretty like regular, you know what I mean? You go to the same places all the time. Sometimes you just want to switch it up. Um, and this is like via text, mind you. So me myself, I don't care for texting, because a lot of things can get lost in translation or miscommunication. So like texting is like my least form of like favorite form of communication. So I prefer face to face. If it's not face to face, FaceTime, then call, then text, because then I could pick up more on your energy, because via text message I could just be assuming or just projecting what I think is really going on, right? And the response to she responded to, because she was like, why don't you want to eat in these areas? And he explained, like, I already ate like in all these areas, like nothing is, I want to eat somewhere different. And she asked why. Oh, he said he didn't want to eat this area, and she asked why, and he explained, like, because there's really nothing going on here, and he wants to just try something new. And her response was, period, okay. And so he's asking me as like a girl, like, what does that mean? So me, I have to like just be transparent, because I'm just like, well, you see how you said, okay? It could really just be that simple, where she's just saying, okay, and it's just like, that's just what it is. But he knows her better than I know her. So, but I'm just like that, okay, could be insinuating like there's another reason why you don't want to eat in the area that you live in. And as a girl, he's probably like, she's probably thinking like, oh, is there somebody like you don't want to see or end up seeing like at these places? And that's where more he's like feeling is really going on, that she's probably insinuating like there's something more to his response that like he's not letting on, but that's really is like what's going on. And so I'm just like, I feel you. And I'm just like, this is exactly why I don't like texting. Because if I could hear her, I could get more context. But he stated that like she's done this before. Okay. And so with that being said, I'm like, have you communicated with her that like you don't like that she responds in that manner, because you feel like she's not being completely upfront about her emotions? And he stated that he has, and that she's saying that like, no, that's really how she means it, and that like she doesn't like to be confrontational. So if you're saying that you don't like to be confrontational, then really you're probably not being super honest or transparent about how you really feel, and that is frustrating him, which I totally understand, because like, don't say something that you don't really mean, and then don't say something like just so that you think it's going to become something that you don't want it to become. I feel like that's something like people do a lot, like early in their relationship or just like getting to know people, is that like you will shy away from being honest or upfront about your emotions because of what you may think the reaction is. And that's just you assuming or trying to, fortune tell how somebody's going to react to something, because what if he's actually opening to, let you know like the real deal and keeping you secure, because that's where I was coming from, right? And like secure your feelings, like just be upfront. And that's where I was coming from, as far as he needs to switch up his communication, because I'm like, so you've already told her this before in a certain way. Obviously the way that you told her is not registering that she thinks that it's okay to be upfront about how she feels, hence why she keeps doing it. And I think, and he doesn't really want to, so I gave him some advice, like say it this way, me being a girl, right? And I'm trying to like put myself in her shoes. I'm like, you should say, one, like, yeah, I feel like you're not being honest about how you're really feeling. But in order for this to work, I need you to be open enough to tell me how you really feel, so that I could let you know what's really going on and give you that sense of security. Because there's a lot of people who are really insecure and think like other things is happening outside of whatever you guys going on. And so allow me to like give you some peace of mind about what's really going on, how I'm feeling, what I'm doing. Because then if you let me know that there is some insecurity, or that you do think there's something, that I can clear that up for you. Because if you're making it seem like it is nothing, but you really do want clarity and you want that reinforced because you lack some security within yourself, or have some esteem issues, or have like some past trauma about like people playing you, I can't tend to those needs if you're making it seem like it's not a big deal. So he said he responded, but he still didn't respond in how I said it, because in his eyes, he feels that like he's playing him emotionally, right? Like, because that's really how you feel, but you want to act like it. And therefore, he doesn't want to bend, not even bend, but give her that. He doesn't want to attend to her emotional needs in that manner, because he feels like she's not being upfront and she's just playing games. And so, which I understand both parties in that aspect, but so I told him, okay, then. So at the end of the day, if you don't want to put energy into someone where you want to meet them halfway, or be patient with them as far as like making them feel secure or comfortable enough to fully express themselves, then there's no point of being in a relationship. And he said like, or they're not in a relationship, but getting to know each other more. And he said that like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And I'm just like, so why are you wasting each other's time when you already know you're irritated by something that she does? And for him, he wants to take it slow, and she's ready to like be in a relationship. And so he's saying like he's not feeling the spark. And I'm just like, whoa, that's because you're irritated. You're still stuck about one thing that she's doing that irritates you. So it's going to be hard to kind of find other things attractive when she continues to do this aspect. And then to continue, I'm like, in any relationship, you're gonna have to like cater to who you're talking to. Just because you are upfront and forward about how you address things doesn't mean that that's how she communicates, be based on her trauma or past relationship, or just how she communicates in general. You may want that from her, like, okay, just speak to me upfront. But for her, what she likes to receive is for you to be more sensitive to her emotion, because at the end of the day, I strongly believe that you can get the same message across in different ways. And so it's just a matter of, do you want to do that, and do you care enough to do that? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to speak to your elder, well, not to say that, but But for the most part, you're not going to speak to an elder the same way you speak to somebody who is within your same age range, and then you're not going to speak to a child the same way. You're going to adjust your communication and how you speak to all parties, because all require something different. And for me, I'm the type of person, I don't like to pick and choose. Like, if I want somebody to speak to me a certain kind of way, I'm just going to treat you how I want to be treated, and just be that way across the board. I'm not going to pick and choose, because I'm conscious enough to be able to read energy and know how you're able to receive things, and what language is going to work for you and not work for you, right? And the other thing that came down was just like, this one's funny. So he wants to keep it slow, right? And want to get to know each other, but because I think he mentioned, like, I don't know if it's gonna work, and he stated that she said that, like, I get what I want, and I'm not gonna stop until I get it. And I'm just like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, well, that doesn't sound like she's respecting your choice and how you feel about pursuing the relationship. And so if she's not willing to respect that, then that's already a red flag, because then you don't respect my emotions and how I feel about things. And it's not a one-way street. It takes two to make this relationship work. So that was my first thing. And then, but his response to that, so I'm just like, yeah, you kind of need to like flip it back on her, because just because you can feel and want what you want, but that doesn't mean you're gonna make me do what you want type of energy. Like, that's just not how things work. And so I'm just like, okay, I'm just seeing that this is just a waste of time. You should just cut this right now, because you're already irritated, and she doesn't seem like she's gonna respect how you feel about the relationship, as far as like taking it slow and see how it goes, because for you right now, you're not really feeling the spark. And his response is that, well, she's a good person and I don't want to lose her. Pause. So this is really what the message that I want to talk about, right? I'm like, so you want to keep her around because she's a good person, but she's not respecting of your feelings. And this is what I mean. We need to be more consistent across the board and not pick and choose when it's convenient. Because in my eyes, you're saying she's a good person, right? But in my eyes, I don't see her as a good person. How is she a good person when she can't respect you and your feelings? She sounds real selfish to me, because she's only thinking about herself. And this is what I mean when it comes to red flags. Like, just because a person shows up for you in a certain kind of way, we must also evaluate, why are they showing up in this way, and are their intentions pure? You know what I'm saying? Because just because you show up in a certain kind of way, you may think you're a good person, but if your intentions are not pure in doing it in that moment, and the reason why you're doing it, then that doesn't make you a good person, because then you have ulterior motives. You know what I mean? And for me, that's not cool. Like, I don't want somebody who's just gonna be a certain kind of way around me for a certain kind of reason, not just because they genuinely want to or is that person. You know what I'm saying? So really evaluate like what you think is a good person, because just because it might be beneficial for what she's done for you, that doesn't really qualify her, because she's not good across the board. She's good when it's working out in your benefit, right? She's considered a good person, but then when she's not listening to you or not taking your feelings or emotions into consideration, how is that a good person? You can't pick and choose to be a good person. If you're a good person, you're a good person across the board. And what do I mean like that? Like me, for example, right? Even if I like you, for example, but you asking me some real advice about like other girls, I'm not gonna give you a biased advice just so that it can benefit me. I'm gonna think about you as a person and give you the best advice based on you as a person. Same as like, if I'm saying I'm an honest person, even if it hurts me to tell you the truth, I'm gonna tell you the truth, even though it's not gonna be beneficial to me that I'm telling you the truth about something that I may not like, or I know is gonna make me look bad. You know what I'm saying? So we must reevaluate these little like micro, I don't know, characteristics, like just how we deal with people, because I feel like by looking over these things, we start to make excuses, and then you really think like this person a certain kind of way, but in actuality, they've always been this way, but you just never notice the inconsistencies and how are they this way and why they're this way. You get what I'm saying? Because then it becomes like, wow, I never knew you was like, no, you just wasn't paying attention. Because people would tell on themselves over and over again, trust and believe me. And it's always because of a lack of paying attention that you're gonna miss these telling on themselves. Because when I tell you there's so many things I pick up on people like early on, it's because one, like I'm really listening to what you're saying, and I'm gonna do it across the board. It's not just when it's convenient, it's also when it's inconvenient. Are you gonna still be that person? Are you still gonna show up into the same way, or are you gonna sway when it's because it's beneficial to you or what you're getting out of the situation? I don't rock with that, like, whatsoever. And that's why when I look back on certain situations or things like people I've been with or was friends with, I'm just like, yo, you really wasn't even that like cool of a person. Like, you really wasn't that good of a person because you had so many masks. It was always when it was convenient, like you would be a certain kind of way. And then when you turn around your back, you be saying other stuff and doing other stuff. And I'm just like, yo, that's mad fraudulent, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't move like that. I'm the type of person, I can't smile in front of your face and then act like we cool, like we not, then talk ish about you like as soon as I turn around my back, bro. It's just like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, you're gonna know, like, or I'm just gonna move in a certain kind of way where it's just like, bro, I'm gonna keep you as at arm length. Like, it's not like I'm gonna be kikiing like, oh yeah, hey, 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 and then all of a sudden, like, as soon as you gone, I'm just like dogging your, like, no. That's mad weird to me. It don't sit right with me or my soul to move or do stuff like that. So that's why I'm very quick to just remove myself from a situation where you see me slowly like separate and distance myself, because it's just like, I'm not gonna act around you, bro. So it's just like, instead of trying to keep up an act, it's like, peace out. Like, I'm really good over here. Like, you can do that over there. That's just not somebody I am or want to be around. I want you to keep it a buck with me. I want us to be able to communicate. Like, if there's something wrong, like, speak on it. Like, don't just be on some like weird energy, like, for no reason. Because if you're not, you're definitely, I'm peace out, because like, why are you like that for? Like, when you really could have communicated how you feel. Like, for me, the switch up or just like, again, the inconsistencies, that don't work for me, because I'm pretty consistent in who I am. And when you inconsistent, I consider you a liability, like, point blank in the period, because then you're going to be, again, whenever the situation is beneficial, like, you up, but then let it like be something else, like you gone or you missing, or like, or you can't reciprocate the same energy. Like, nah, bro, I don't need, nah. So really sit down, and this is what I mean when I say self-audit, and like audit the people around you. Like, that's why I know, like, in my last situation, I had to learn to like step back. Again, allow people to show you who they are, but also listen, because they will, I promise you, 9 out of 10, they will tell on themselves, where it's just like, you just not picking up on it because you're being selfish about your needs and what your intentions are, right? Because you already know what this, for example, in this situation, you already know, you say she was a good person because of how she showed up in your life before. So, but that's not you keeping it real to, you know, be a certain kind of way just because of what she's done for you, and you may need that help. Like, no, be real about how you feel. The same way you asking her to be real to you, you gotta be real with yourself, bro. Because by you just keeping her around just because it might be beneficial, that's not right neither. Like, that's fraudulent as hell. So yeah, you must self-evaluate and evaluate the people around you to really like get a feel of like who's really real, who's really not, who's gonna be there like through the ups and downs, you feel me? And still be rocking the same and not switch up just because it got really tough, or situations not looking the best, or who's only there when it's like up and it's good. Like, nah, bro. But I just wanted to bring that example because, you know, I be listening to stuff because I be saying stuff like in the moment, and I'm just like, yo, that's real stuff. And I like to share it because I feel like a lot of people don't think about that, because the answers really be right in front of your face. Like, people be telling you like right in front of your face, and it's just like you just don't pay attention because you're thinking about your own intentions as well. But it's just like, if you really like pure of heart, you're just gonna be real with yourself and be real with the other person, like regardless of the situation, because that's just you being real. It's not about me trying to like get something out of you or you get something out of me. It has to be mutually beneficial in the situation. And I'm always going to keep it real with myself. I'm not going to play myself or be around something I really don't want to be around, or do something I really don't want to do just to appease somebody else. Like, it's just not going to work like that. That's family, friend, partner. It's just not. I'm always going to keep it real, because it doesn't benefit me not being honest about how I feel. And who only gets hurt in the end, in the process, by you not keeping it real, is you. And then in the process, you might end up hurting other people when you really could have just like, again, pieced out and kept it copacetic and just kept it real and be like, well, I would love to have you in my life still, but we just can't be in the way that you want to be. And if that's not okay with you and you can't handle that, then I send you with love and light. Y'all really be like, let go of these attachments. Like, it's really okay. Like, you gonna be okay. You was okay before you met this person. You gonna be like okay after you meet this person, and if they're gone, like, for real, for real. But that's my message for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Cast the light. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And if nobody told you today, let me be the first to tell you, Divine Reflection, that I love you. And I hope you have a good evening and good night. I hope you have blissful dreams. Okay, manifest all that, sense your intentions. And I'll see you guys next time.